Are you tired of trying to create a level in Geometry Dash, but halfway you quit because you have no motivation to continue? Well, I used to be one of those people too, but you first need to know the habits of making a good level, and I'm here to help. Some of the tips may seem pretty useless at times, but trust me, it's worth it, so let's dive right in. Part 1. Brainstorming. So as a new creator, this may not seem like an obvious thing to do because it's a Geometry Dash level and only a Geometry Dash level, but it's actually one of the most important things to do in my opinion. Before you start creating, think about what the level overall should look like, and then later think about what stuff you want on it. If you want to make a simple design level, think about what deco to use. If you want to make an effect level, think about the effects that you want along with how to make them, and so on depending what you want to make. One example is how I made floating. I wanted to make something different to impress the GD forum judges so they can move my level to the good section, which we will talk about later. As wrong as I was about impressing judges, I decided to make it a modernistic level, sort of like optical. I wanted to make a dot pattern, an opening rainbow effect sort of like the one seen in Mannix, and some floating islands. The ideas took off and I made floating. Also keep in mind not everything needs to be brainstormed, but if you forget a part, you might get stuck. If you can't think of anything, maybe you just need some inspiration. It would be better if you looked for ideas outside of Geometry Dash, like in my level Condense. I originally wanted to make a city looking like Tacoma during the day, but I found out that adding taller buildings and at night looks way cooler. If you think Hero Locked was inspired by Deadlocked, you are right. If you think it's inspired off of multiple levels, you're more right. The beginning is inspired by just generic 2.1 levels, the wave is inspired by the phases in the Honorable Final, and the frame in Deadlocked V3. The puzzle is inspired by TOE3, the lava caves were inspired by Viking Arena, and the acid part was inspired by Acid Factory and Deadlocked V3. The lava part was inspired by Matilda Machine, the techno part was inspired by Blade of Justice, and the boss battle was inspired by Reanimation. So my level is quite unoriginal, but I didn't copy it, I put my own take on it. Never copy anything. Echonox did an excellent job finding inspiration for his level, Ad Hoc. In his video, he showed everyday objects cluttered around his desk, and used their patterns to make a really cool level. That video will be in the description. Part 2. Gameplay. So we finally stopped talking about brainstorming, and since we have that done, gameplay is next. I highly recommend mapping out the gameplay before you design the level. For me, it's a must to create a layout, because once the layout's done, you can look forward to using that gameplay later on, causing yourself to gain motivation. So what should you have in your level gameplay-wise? Well, first of all, don't make your level stupidly boring. Okay, seriously, how long is this part going to go on? Also, don't make your levels too repetitive. For example, the level I'm sharing you right now is really repetitive, and it makes you wonder if you're wasting your time to get those 2 stars. Also, try not to make your levels really annoying, like not Crazy Man 50. Seriously, you have to hit the orbs at literally the exact second, so don't do any unnecessary timings. What I like seeing in levels are a certain amount of rest after a part requiring the player to tap a lot. Mannix does an excellent job on this. After an intense mini-ship straight fly part, you hold the mouse and then wait for about a second, making the player think like, woo, I got past that part inside. If you want to make the gameplay of a level more difficult, perhaps consider using portal switching. If you switch portals every few seconds, it causes the player to think fast while what's coming next, and ultimately makes the level feel more fun. Finally, try to give the level sync. The music in any level is extremely important in any level, and giving the music sync with the song makes the level way better. However, don't try to sync the level too much with every single note possible, because it can be really annoying at times. Part 3. Block design. So personally, I'm far more experienced with gameplay than I am design, but I'll try my best. So back in the day, you could get away with no block design, but sadly those days are over. Block designs look really cool if you start with a plain black block, then pile on a bunch of decoration onto it, or you could add simple block designs to others. Sir Punj did a really good job in his level Disp, where he took different block designs, put them into one level. Of course, your block designs will look different depending on the style you're aiming for. For example, if you want to make a modernistic level, you could make curvy blocks. You could just take the circles in the editor, scale them down, then get that curvy shape you want. You can also take the curvy looking outlines to make the slopes that you want. So there you go, you have curvy and fun looking slopes. Part 4, Decoration. So this is probably the most important part of any GD level. It's what everyone sees when they first look at one. First, if you're trying to make a design level, try to take your background to a much darker version of what you want your level to be. Then, you can make a lighter color for decoration. If you decide to use blending on your decoration, and only your decoration, it looks much better, causing the object to look transparent but not too transparent. Also, feel free to make the object less opaque. You can also add glow to certain objects to make them stand out more. Whatever what glow patterns works for you, but I recommend using the circle gradient on your deco. It's easy and all you have to do is copy and paste the gradient. Don't use blending with glows, as it will not show up well in the editor. If you want to make a theme level like Ancient Anubis, try to make all of your design, including the blocks, geared towards that certain theme. It looks so cool that way. So we've covered normal deco, but what if you're making an effect level, or any level really? You need to add a good background, and from your brainstorming, hopefully you have a good idea what's in the background. It can be like many levels, but if you're like me or JF, backgrounds are super important. You can set your entire background to a certain group, then there's a move trigger, and then select lock to player X, and then maybe 15 seconds, it really doesn't matter. Then you can do whatever effects you want. When I made floating, the orbiting rainbow was caused by 4 sheets of white, one moving left, another moving right, then up and down. Then I repeat with different colors. When you're finally finished with everything, make sure to check for errors in the design and gameplay, because you might have forgot to cover up a secret way. Part 5, Post Creation. Assuming you've verified your level okay, it is now time to give your level exposure. If you haven't done so already, give your level a clever name. It can have to do with the song name or the theme you're basing the level off of, or it can be something in a different language. Ad honorum is for honor in Latin and definitely fits the level well. One thing you can do outside of GD is go onto the forum, into the judging panel. From there, a group of judges can criticize your level, telling you what's good and what's bad about it. If it's really good, then there's a small chance a mod might see it and rate it. You never know. You can also enter your level into a contest, especially a contest with stricter rules. Finally, you can become friends with the Geometry Dash moderator directly. Personally, I don't know the do's and don'ts of internet communication, but what I do is go on Twitch and see if there are any streams titled something like Level Request, sending good ones to RobTop, because if there are and the mod likes it, RobTop will most likely like it and rate it. So there we have it, how to make a feature-worthy level in GD. These tips may be very hard to follow the first time, but it just takes lots and lots of practice, skill, and patience, and maybe, just maybe, you will get a featured level. This video and the script writing took me forever to make, and I would like to thank everyone that have watched this video this far. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like and a comment, subscribe if you're new to this channel, and as always guys, this is Herobrine Craft signing out. Bye guys.